been like unpaid therapists to each other, certain inside jokes which nobody else will ever get. It's not just the friendship that's lost, but if I had to go through that to learn this lesson, oh my god, I'm so thankful. Hi guys, what's up? It's me Aarti. Welcome to a brand new video on this channel, and this is that heart to heart that I promised I'd do a few days ago. It's called Break Up with Friends. I'm going to talk about losing friends or friendships as an adult. I said this that 2 years ago I parted ways with two friends जो मुझे लगा था would be my lifelong friends and BFFs and friends forever. And when that happened, it did take like a serious toll on me. I did take my time to basically process it and deal with it. And I choose to call it a breakup because let's face it, not enough people are talking about it. But losing friendships as an adult is as hurtful and as painful as a relationship breaking up. Not a lot of people acknowledge the pain and the hurt and everything that you feel when friendships like these are lost. Breakup की बड़ी सारी poetry लिखी जाती है, to be honest, but very few people even acknowledge openly or talk openly about lost friendships, I feel. And today I'm going to share about a certain situation that happened in my life 2 years ago, how I dealt with it, how I processed it, what I learned from it, of course, because that's my favorite thing to do. Sit and reflect on इस चीज ने मुझे क्या सिखाया, इस चीज ने मुझे क्या सिखाया. Make notes and come and then share them with you all here. So that's what this video is going to be about. If you'd like to hear this, stick around. Okay. First, before we begin, can we admit that adult friendships falling apart can hurt much more than a breakup sometimes? To be honest. Okay, if not more, maybe as much as a breakup. Like, jitna hurtful it is to part ways with like a lover or a partner or a boyfriend or somebody you've been very intimate with, I think utna hi hurtful hota hai when, you know, a very, very, very close friendship falls apart. Because I feel friends are like your chosen family. It's literally like people that you have seen and handpicked out of a crowd, like out of the hundreds of people that you meet in schools and colleges and at workplace, you decided कि ठीक है इन सारे strangers में से 1, 2, 3, 4 will be my people from now on. They will be almost as important as my family, or if not that much, at least like the next after my family. जो तुम्हारे सबसे close friends होते हो, तुम उनके साथ अपने deepest सीक्रेट्स शेयर करते हो, उनके साथ एक लेवल ऑफ ऑनेस्टी तुम दिखाते हो अपनी पर्सनालिटी की, जो तुम बहुत कम लोगों को अपना वो पार्ट लाइफ में दिखाते हो या जिनके साथ शेयर करते हो. आई कैन से दैट फॉर गर्लफ्रेंड्स बिकॉज आई हैव हैड अ लॉट ऑफ गर्लफ्रेंड्स. आई थिंक गर्ल्स share stories of their lives with each other with so much honesty, so much vulnerability that you know each other like very few people know you. You've literally seen each other through everything, from the best times to the worst times. You've seen both of y'all acting like total crazy fucking bitches and not judged each other for it, but laughed about it with each other. You know what I'm saying? You've seen each other go through those multiple, there's a new boy moment and then multiple breakups, and even those very, very heart shattering moments that happen to you in life. To an extent, been like unpaid therapists to each other, giving 2 3 hour pep talks on the phone whenever required. So whenever a person who knows you like this, like so bloody well, when they either decide to walk out of your life or you mutually decide to part ways, I feel what happens is it's not just the friendship that's lost, it's the memories that you shared with that person which will never be the same again. And then there will be certain inside jokes which nobody else will ever get because they were your jokes and that person just knew it because they were a part of your journey throughout. Now you can't start explaining everything from start to somebody new to crack that joke again. So जब ये सारी चीजें तुम नहीं कर पाते हो तो there's a sense of loss of not just the relationship, not just that another person. I feel it's a part of you that you shared with this one person that also leaves you. So yeah, this is how it is, I feel. And by the way, ये friendships के standards तो हमारे लिए इतने high set कर दिए ना pop culture ने. I did say this in the last video also. Thanks to shows like Friends, जहाँ पे 6 people are in each other's faces all the time from morning to night. They're eating breakfast together and dinners together and partying together and vacationing together and dropping everything in their life to be there for the other person. Like these are the expectations that have been set for us, and then you realize real life में ऐसा नहीं होता बेटा. Talking about how I processed that whole thing. When this happened back in 2020. Like already pandemic चल रहा था and life is like, let me make things a little more difficult for you. Take 2 more things that I'm going to give you. And this is what happened then, and I reacted like any normal person would, because I'm one of those people जिसके लिए like relationships and connections are very important in my life, very, very, very important. I hold them at a certain space, and I'm very emotional with my connections with people. So when these things fell off or were falling apart, I was so hurt and I felt so betrayed and I felt so resentful and I felt like all sorts of negative emotions that you feel when you're hurt. So I was in that very, very hurt phase for quite a few days, because I am one of those people who takes my time to grieve and sulk and throw myself a pity party for days before I bounce out of it. So I was like, what the fuck is happening? What a fucking bitch and this and that. I've gone through that entire process of feeling extremely not good inside. But then after I was done throwing my tantrum, after I was done throwing that fit, I was like, okay, now let's sit down and see what actually happened there. And that is how I think I process most things in life. I'll first throw a fit, like, why the fuck did this happen? I did not deserve it. I'll do all of that and my own drama, like that little show. When I reach that phase of let's take a fair look at what happened, and I do that a lot by journaling. I journal a lot when I have these complicated things to deal with in life or emotions to deal with. And to be honest, it's about getting extremely honest with yourself कि ये जो situation तुम्हारे साथ आई, how much were you responsible for creating this situation in your life? So sometimes when your ego tries to tell you different stories that how you're the nicest person on earth and only the other person is the person who does all shit, that's where you have to get extremely honest with yourself. No, but what did you really do? And I got honest with myself and I asked myself some questions like, what did this situation teach me? What did this teach me about the other person? And what did this whole thing teach me about myself? And I feel जब भी मैं कोई इस टाइप की murky situation में होती हूँ ना, मैं इन questions के answers देने की कोशिश करती हूँ. That is my process of trying to get over that situation or process that situation fully. And I'm a firm believer कि there is a bigger reason and bigger purpose behind everything that happens to you in your life, and especially every person that enters your life is there to come and reflect something back to you from yourself, is there to come and teach you a certain lesson that your soul is supposed to learn on this journey. And I feel that every single thing that's happening in life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. And this one statement has really, really helped me process this. So when I went through this whole split or whatever, of course it was difficult in the moment, but when I look at these difficult moments in my life saying, okay, why did this happen for me? What was this trying to teach me? What is the lesson that I needed to learn from this which I hadn't learned in my life till now? Then I can have a healthy perspective towards things. So if you are going through something similar in life right now, I know how overwhelming these emotions can feel. It can feel very confusing when people who you've been extremely close with suddenly just leave like that. So journaling helps a lot and I have used it, and if you journal honestly na, it really helps you look deep within yourself. What were you feeling in a certain situation? Why did you say a few things that you said? Where were those things coming from? What were the things that you said to that person just related to that person? कभी कभी क्या होता है, कुछ लोग जिस वे में बिहेव करते हैं ना, they trigger some deep memories inside us जो हमारे साथ कभी कुछ और हुआ रहता है, and then you end up also reacting a certain way. So when you journal very honestly about what you said, why you said it, what were you really feeling, not what you're telling your other friends to look good. What were you really feeling when something like this happened? Now moving to what did I learn from this, and I have some notes here. So the number one is overdoing and over expecting. Now this has been a huge part of my personality. I have been like this person who will be there for important people in my life at the drop of a hat. Okay, so everything can take a backseat. When another person needs me, I have to be there. I would be there for people to a point of burnout. And to be honest, that was my problem, not theirs. This is what I realized later. I read this in Inner Engineering, which is a book by Sadhguru, कि जब भी तुम्हारे life में ऐसी hurtful, stressful, painful situations होती है, divert all the attention from outside to inside and get honest with yourself about what did you do for this to happen. And when I looked at things, I realized, who was asking me to do so much? Nobody. Like there would be moments where I have come back from a very hectic day at work, shoot day, बहुत रात हो गई है, I am so dead tired, like all I want to do is drop in my bed and sleep. But if somebody needs me on the phone call right now for an hour because they are going through something difficult, I will be there. I will not even question my sleep. I will be like, हाँ obviously मैं बाद में सो लूँगी, but this person needs me right now. And then expect them to do that for me, which when it doesn't happen, then you end up feeling very resentful, which is such an unhealthy place to be internally. I remember one of these therapists that I was seeing years ago, उसने मुझे एक line बोली थी, only do that much for a person which you would be happy to do if it was never returned, you know. So उतना ही करो जो तुम्हारे पास वापस नहीं आया, फिर भी तुम खुश रहोगे. Number 2 is communicating my needs clearly. Now it might look like I'm great at communication, which I kind of am actually, but when it comes to communicating my needs, I have been horrible, because what happens is communicating your needs, for me, I equate it to asking somebody for something. And default setting है मेरे दिमाग में कि अगर मैंने बता दिया कि मुझे ये चाहिए, मतलब I am burdening them unnecessarily, or I'm bothering them, or I'm causing them inconvenience. But very, very slowly in my life, I've started exercising it and saying how much ever uncomfortable that makes me feel when I'm saying it to the other person. I still say it and feel the discomfort and live with it. It feels so shitty inside, I can't tell you. Especially जब तुम्हें आदत नहीं होती है चीजें करने की. This इसलिए ये जो self love के जो stupid Pinterest codes डालते हैं ना, this is what it is. Standing up for yourself, talking for yourself, telling somebody what you need, communicating it even when on the inside you're feeling like just bury my head in the ground. I don't want to tell them what I need from them, because it puts you in a state of vulnerability. When you tell somebody what you need, they might turn it down, and that puts you in such a vulnerable place. But things you all need to learn to do in life. But anyway, the moral is ki learn to how to communicate what you need from another person, so that there is no space left for confusion. Other people are not responsible to sit there and read your mind and guess what you need and do it for you. That's a lot of work. Easier would be for you to tell them, this is what I need, boss, and then they will also do it. But yeah, this clarity and this clear communication is such a, like, the most basic and most important thing in any relationship, I feel, not just friendship. The next lesson that I learned was stop trying to force change and accept things for exactly how they are. You know, some relationships of your life where you have communicated to another person consistently, you know, how you feel about something. After you've said it few times, the other person obviously should understand what you've said, and if you're important to them, then they make that necessary little bit of change to accommodate your needs. But अगर ऐसा हुआ है कि तुमने 2-3 बार या ज़्यादा बार किसी को कुछ बताया है and they have not done something about it, and you've seen that happen repeatedly, after that, this is my learning in life, drop it and let it go. Don't try to do anything more about it. Because I have this internal thing about, I see potential in people and in relationships, and that it can be good. So sometimes when things are not working out, I will put in the work and put in the work and put in the work to make it good. But sometimes how much ever work you put in does not matter, because the other person also has to put it. So when that's not happening, drop it, let it go, leave it. Don't try to change it. Don't try to force change. Basically understanding that you cannot change another person or that situation. All you can change is you. The next one is people treat you like you treat yourself. I think this lesson, तो ये lesson मुझे life ने इतनी बार सिखाया, and I think I had to go through these painful situations to learn this very hard lesson. When I was in these situations, when I was overextending myself, when I was consistently there for another person, regardless and irrespective of what I needed then or how I was feeling, what am I teaching another person? That you and your needs and your feelings and your emotions are much more important than me. मेरा ठीक है, देख लेंगे, तुम तुम्हारा बताओ पहले. That's how I was. So what am I teaching these people? Like these things work very subconsciously. Like जब कोई तुम्हारे साथ इन तरीके से behave करता है ना, they are not being malicious or they are not being hurtful on purpose. तुमने अपने आप को इस तरह से उनके सामने ट्रीट करी, उन्हें सिखा दिया कि it's okay for them also to discard your needs or what you feel or your feelings or your emotions and treat you that way. So when I couldn't be there for myself and I couldn't give myself the love and compassion and the kindness and the empathy and whatever I needed, how would they give it to me? So basically I was running on low battery trying to charge other people, जबकि मुझे खुद को अपने आप को चार्ज करने की जरूरत थी कि बैठ जाओ बेटा, पहले खुद चार्ज हो जाओ, बाद में तुम social service कर लेना. When I look back on what happened with these two friends, of course it was hurtful, painful to go through, but if I had to go through that to learn this lesson, oh my god, I'm so thankful. And another conversation that I had with a therapist, जो मैं अपना podcast एक बना रही हूँ, उस पे एक therapist थी, उसने उस podcast में ये बोला था that the people closest to us have a way of triggering our deepest vulnerabilities, and if you can look at it in a certain way or a certain perspective, in that you can find your healing. And I so feel this. तुम्हारे जो सबसे ज्यादा क्लोज लोग होते हैं ना, वो तुम्हें इतने अच्छे से जानते हैं, वो तुम्हारे बारे में इतने डीपली जानते हैं कि sometimes they can say really hurtful things to you, really mean things to you that can trigger you from the inside, that can trigger some really deep and like childhood wounds or whatever. बट जब ये सब तुम्हारे साथ हो रहा होता है, जब उन्होंने ये वूंड ट्रिगर कर दिया है, if in the moment you can be present and understand what has happened, what part of that has affected you inside and what part of you inside needs healing, then it's a win-win situation, my friend. Number 5 is everyone has different ways of showing up. बहुत बार especially close relationships जो होते हैं, friendships included, problems जब आती है वो expectations की वजह से आती है कि मैंने तुमसे ये expect किया था और तुमने मेरी expectation को meet नहीं किया। बट बहुत बार हम लोग उसको इस एंगल से देखना भूल जाते हैं कि तुम इस तरह से इस चीज को करते, बट उनका सेम चीज को करने का तरीका बहुत अलग है। सो ये दिस वन अंडरस्टैंडिंग दैट पीपल हैव देयर ओन वेज ऑफ शोइंग अप फॉर यू, नॉट एवरीबडी विल शो अप इन एग्जैक्टली योर वे और एग्जैक्टली हाउ यू वांट देम टू, दे विल बट in their own capacity. So you have to make peace with that, and and how much they're ready to extend themselves or be there. And the next one, which is इसी का एक extension है, which another life coach से मैंने सुनी ये बात कि don't expect apples from an orange tree and then be disappointed. जब आप कोई चीज किसी से एक्सपेक्ट करते हो तो आगे वाला आपके लिए वो कर पाए या नहीं कर पाए, उसके 2 फैक्टर्स होते हैं. एक होता है विलिंगनेस टू डू दैट थिंग, दूसरा होता है कैपेसिटी टू डू दैट थिंग. सो जब आप किसी से कुछ चीज एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हो, दे कुड बी willing to do that but they might not be capable of doing that, or they could be capable of doing that and might not be willing to do that. And understanding which people in your life fall in which category so you can manage your expectations from them and not get hurt is so important. For example, कुछ हुआ है तुम्हारी लाइफ में, कुछ overwhelming situation है, you're going through turbulent times and you expect this one friend to come and sit next to you and comfort you, and that friend understands jack shit about emotions. Emotions का भी नहीं समझता, उनका emotional compass ही, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. A lot of people get very uncomfortable with emotions, and if you expect कि वो friend अगर तुम्हें बैठ के तुम्हारे साथ बैठे गले में हाथ डाले comfort करे, then you're expecting from the wrong person. You're not going to get it and you'll obviously feel hurt. So understanding किसकी कितनी कैपेसिटी है देने की, क्या वो दे सकता है, और कैपेसिटी होकर अगर उसे नहीं देना तो यू कैंट फोर्स देम. एंड द लास्ट वन इज डोंट गिव द की टू योर हाउस टू समवन हु इज barely appreciated your garden. Now I'm loosely quoting this really close friend of mine called Yamini. Yamini मुंबई में रेडियो जॉकी है. Yamini ने मुझे लाइन एक बार बोली थी when something had happened and I was on a phone call with her and I was telling her why I fell for that guy. I was just telling her, he was so nice and so gentlemanly and chivalrous and so kind, and he would give me compliments and say nice things about me. And when she heard it, she told me, yeah, so he was just doing the basic things like being kind and gentlemanly and chivalrous. आज के time में बड़ा बना दिया है, but it's like the most basic things to do. And obviously he'll say nice things about you because you're awesome. So just because somebody has been a little nice to you, are you going to like just because किसी ने तुम्हारे घर में आके गार्डन की तारीफ कर दी तो तुम उसको अपने पूरे घर की चाबी दे दोगे कि जा कभी भी जाके रह ले? I would never forget this. Basically, I would give another person a huge place in my life or almost put them on a pedestal for them doing the bare minimum. Like I think I drastically lowered down my standards of what I need from people so that I don't come across as too difficult or too needy. The conditioning, how it works. My learning here has been that you give people the access to different levels of your life basis what they show you. You let people do, let them show who they are, let them prove themselves, and then step by step put them up in your life rather than यहाँ से लेकर सीधा यहाँ रख दिया for one little gesture that you've done for me. Like when I look back and see so many times I wanted to preserve a connection so bad, I was ready to let my self-respect go in that situation. And all this comes from the place of having low self-worth. जब तुम्हारी self-worth low होती है ना, तुम हर चीज को अपने लाइफ में खुद से ज़्यादा importance देते हो, हर बंदे को, उनके साथ के कनेक्शन को, उनको पेडिस्टल पे डाल देते हो. But then things like these have to happen to teach you the important lesson of self-love. So this is what it has been. These are the learnings. This is how I processed it. काफ़ी हार्ट टू हार्ट रहा है ये. लेट मी नो तुम्हें ये वीडियो कैसा लगा, नीचे कमेंट करके मुझे बताओ. तो तुम्हें बता चुकी मैं बहुत बार कि इंस्टाग्राम यूट्यूब एल्गोरिथम के लिए कमेंटिंग, लाइकिंग, शेयरिंग बहुत जरूरी है. व्हेन यू डू ऑल दीज थिंग्स माय वीडियो रीचेस न्यूअर ऑडियंसेस एंड आई गेट टू ग्रो. सो प्लीज डू दैट. If this would help any of your friends, share it with them. If you're new to my channel, if you liked what you saw, consider hitting the subscribe button and the bell, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.